Hey guys, and welcome back to a new video. In this video we will set up our architectural skeleton of the app. So that means we will set up our view model, our repository, we will create a view model provider factory, and we will also create a wrapper class around our network responses so that we can later on differentiate between success and error responses and also handle the loading state of that. First of all, we want to go into our UI package and create our view model. So UI package, new Kotlin file or class, and I will call this news view model. Select class here. And this class will of course inherit from view model. And import view model here. And this class will also take a parameter. So make sure to open the constructor here, which is our news repository that we will create afterwards. Repository, which is a news repository. For that repository, I want to create a separate package. Let's go to our root package, create a new package for repository. And in this package, we create a new Kotlin class, news repository. And that repository will also take a parameter, and it will be our database. So val_db, which is an article database, because we will need that DB to access the functions of our database. And this repository will also need to access the API, so our news API interface, but we can get that from our retrofit instance class by just calling this API here. We can directly call this from our repository. We don't need to pass that as a parameter here. And we also get a little error in our news view model because we need to import news repository. So let's quickly do that. And as you maybe know, we cannot use constructor parameters by default for our own view models. If we want to do that, and we really need that here because we need our news repository in our view model, then we need to create what is called a view model provider factory to define how our own view model should be created. So let's create that new class in our UI package, new Kotlin class, which will be our news view model provider factory. And that will inherit from view model provider.factory. Then we can go into that class, press Ctrl+I to implement that create function here. And here we just want to return a new instance of our view model, of our news view model, and pass our news repository that we will also pass in the constructor of this class. And we need to cast that class as t. So that will be the return type of that function. And we need to tell this function that we actually return a news view model. So let's quickly add that news repository in the parameter of that factory class, which is a val news repository, and that is a news repository. Then we can jump into our news activity and create all that needed stuff that we just created the classes for. First of all, we will have a late init var view model, which is a news view model, of course. And in on create, we will first instantiate our news repository. So we create a new repository, val repository is equal to new news repository, of course. And here we pass our database that we don't have yet. So we need to create it here, article database, and import that. And that takes as a parameter our context. So we can just pass this here. Then we can instantiate our view model provider factory. So view model provider factory, that is equal to news view model provider factory, our just created factory class, and that takes our news repository as a parameter. Oops, I only called this repository. Let's call it news repository. And finally, we can instantiate our view model here with our view model provider factory. So we set that to view model provider, pass the lifecycle owner, which is just this activity, and our view model provider factory, call .get afterwards, and pass our actual view model class. So news view model :class.java. And then we can go into our single fragments and instantiate our view model for those. So in here, in the breaking news fragment, we want to override onViewCreated, and we want to create a view model here, of course. So late init var view model, which is a news view model, and we will set that view model to our fragments activity, and we cast that as a news activity. So we have access to the view model created in the news activity and call .viewModel afterwards. And we will need that line in each of our fragments. So copy that, go to Save News Fragments, override onViewCreated, pass that line, and also that late init var view model, which is a news view model. Then we go into our search news fragment, override onViewCreated, paste that line, create the late init var view model, which is a news view model. And finally, for our article fragment, one more time, onViewCreated, paste the line, and create a late init var view model, which is a news view model. And by the way, if you have several properties like these that you need in every of your fragments, or also several functions that you need in every of your fragments, then it is better to create a base fragment class that will be an abstract class that includes all of your properties and functions that all of your fragments need. And then for each of your single fragments, you won't inherit from fragment, instead you will inherit from that base fragment. So you can directly refer to the view model that you only created once in your base fragment. But I think that is a little bit overkill for a single view model property. I will just leave it like that, but you can of course create your base fragment class for practice. And finally, a class that I want to create here is in our util package, and I will call that resource. That is a class that is recommended by Google to be used to wrap around our network responses. And that will be a generic class. And it is very useful to differentiate between successful and error responses, and also helps us to handle the loading state. So when we make a response, that we can show a progress bar while that response is processing. And when we get the answer, then we can use that resource class to tell us whether that answer was successful or an error. And depending on that, we can handle that error or show that successful response. So that class will be a generic class. It will have a generic type T. And in the constructor, it will take our data as a first parameter. So that would be the body of our response. So the actual response. That will be of type T and nullable. I will set it to null initially. And we have the message of our response, which could be the error message, for example, which is a nullable string, which we will set to null initially. And this class won't be a normal class. Instead, it will be a sealed class. If you don't know what a sealed class is, that is just a class. It's kind of an abstract class, but we can define which classes are allowed to inherit from that resource class. So in this class, we will define 3 different classes, and only those are allowed to inherit from resource. So the first of those classes is our success class, which is also of type T. And that success class has a data of type T. This time it's not nullable, because if we have a success response, we are sure that we have data, so that our response has a body. And that success class will inherit from our resource class. Pass T here again, and pass the data in our constructor. Then we will have an error class error, which is also of type T. And this error class will take a message in the constructor, which is of type string. And this time the message is not nullable, because if we get an error, then we have an error message. And we also want to have the optional possibility to pass a data, but this time it's nullable again. And we also set it to null initially, because sometimes we have a body in an error response, but not every time. And in this time we inherit from resource again and pass our data and our message. Oops. And finally, we will have a class loading that will be returned when our response was, when our request was fired off. Then we will emit that loading state, and when the response comes, then we will instead emit that success or error state. So that loading will also be of type T. We don't need a constructor actually. It will just inherit from resource of type T and call the constructor on that. And that is everything for this resource class. You can use that in every of your projects to wrap around your responses and be able to handle your success state, your error state, and your loading state. And I know this video was probably a little bit boring because nothing exciting happened here, but that is just something we needed to do, and the project architecture is really important. And in the next video, we can finally start to make our requests and handle the responses. So I hope this video still helped you, and if so, please leave me a like and a comment below. And if there is anything I can improve on, please let me know that too. Have a good day. See you in the next video. Bye bye.